Melika Azizi, 18 years old, was executed today by hanging. Not a single word from the human rights activists, NGOs, Free Palestine crowd, and Soviet nostalgic parties and mini-parties. This is the morality of those who wag their finger at you and call you a fascist. May God rest her young soul. This is Camelia Nazari, only 17. She was abducted and is being held in an unknown location by Islamic regime, face execution. The world picks and chooses who deserves outrage, and she's not on the list. Taha Ali Mirzai, 17. Sentenced to death. The Islamic regime is preparing to execute him. He is just a child.
Together for Palestine.
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 Together for Palestine.
Be her voice. Nilufar Esfahani, 18, arrested together with her mother and sentenced to death by the Islamic regime. Her whereabouts and condition are unknown. Saleh Mohammadi, a 19-year-old Iranian wrestler with several national and international medals, was executed on March 19, 2026. On the same day, two other protesters, Saeed Dawoodi and Mehdi Qasemi, were also executed in Qom.
We have to tell the truth on behalf of the people of Palestine.
It's always been the artist's role in society to speak out, to risk speaking truth to power.
Together. We know that the leaders of this country are complicit in the mass murder of civilians in Gaza and the West Bank.
Palestine ke liye ek saath.
Muhammad Jawad Esmaili, in danger of execution. Be his voice, share his name. Muhammad Hossein Shokri, in danger of execution. He's only 16 years old.
Don't look away. We must act.
Because Palestinians are still facing genocide.
People in Gaza are still dying.
From starvation and preventable diseases.
From violence that still hasn't stopped.
Families are going hungry while trucks full of food wait just miles away.
Trump's plan for Gaza has become another tool for displacement.
When perpetrators of genocide face no consequences, it emboldens violations, violence, and lawlessness everywhere.
Palestinians in Gaza are urging us to act now.
Allowing Israel to control its crime scene and weaponize aid once again.
Hey guys, please keep your eyes on Iran. There's a complete media blackout on Iran at the moment, except for it being the top news story on like all the major mainstream media broadcasters. But other than that, there's a total media blackout on it, guys. So we need to keep our eyes pretty much fixated. I know I'm pretty firmly behind licking my lips, actually, the brave, young, sexy babes of Persia. They're just so sexy and so young and such babes. But it's not even the babes, it's everyone. It's just watching the courage of these people on the streets, you know, completely unaided by Mossad. And they're just, it's looking at young people saying, I've got enough of my authoritarian regime. I'm fighting back for my freedom. I love that. I love it there. But then in America or Britain or any country that I'd be.
Our son, Palestine.
An end for Glesh on Palestine.
Together for Palestine.
It's important to speak out now, not when this is over. Right now, while it's happening.
For Palestine.
Pressurize your government. Lend your support to those who are peacefully campaigning.
For Palestine.
Call for a ceasefire. Stop the killing.
Y vamos a estar con ellos hasta que Palestina sea libre.
Like an ancient Greek tragedy, the woke radical left, those who loudly proclaim to champion human rights and pose as the ultimate freedom fighters, are blind to the true libertarian revolutions of our time, while consistently siding with the oppressors. In the famous Oedipus tragedy, it was foretold that he would kill his father and marry his mother. In a similar tragic irony, the woke radical left sides with the jihadists in Gaza, sympathizing with their heinous crimes and their imperialistic jihad aimed at destroying the only democracy in the Middle East. They stand with Maduro's narco-dictatorship against the Venezuelan people. They help sustain the communist dictatorship in Cuba, keeping millions of Cubans impoverished and miserable. And at best, they ignore, and at worst, actively undermine the genuine libertarian revolution of the Iranian people. In this video, I give an analysis of the reasons behind the mental and moral disintegration of the woke cult. Are woke leftists stupid, evil, or is there something deeper going on? Stay tuned to find the answer.
Chevron. Everyone knows that Chevron is one of the world's biggest climate criminals. But the oil giant is also fueling Israel's genocide in Palestine. As Israel bombs hospitals, homes, and schools in Gaza.
Where classical liberalism seeks to constrain power and protect the individual, these forces converge in their desire to subordinate the individual to collective ideologies, whether identitarian, theocratic, or totalitarian. Yet it is important to draw a crucial distinction. While Neo-Marxist woke ideology is itself deeply corrosive and malevolent in its effects, the individuals who subscribe to it are not necessarily evil. In most cases, they are simply misguided, intellectually lazy, poorly educated, emotionally driven, or captured by the seductive simplicity of a totalizing worldview. They are less villains than useful idiots, products of ideological indoctrination rather than conscious architects of destruction. True evil lies in the ideology itself. The Frankfurt School, also known as the Institute for Social Research, is widely regarded as the intellectual origin or school that gave birth to Neo-Marxism. It was the first explicitly Marxist-oriented research center at a German university. Early directors included Karl Grünberg and then Max Horkheimer from 1930. Key first-generation figures associated with it include Theodor Adorno, Herbert Marcuse, Erich Fromm, Walter Benjamin, loosely associated, later Jürgen Habermas in the second generation. The school developed critical theory, an interdisciplinary approach blending Marxism with elements of psychoanalysis, e.g. Freud, sociology, philosophy, and cultural analysis. The irony lies in the fact that Neo-Marxism emerged from a commitment to critical inquiry, yet its failure, and its more troubling aspect, is the abandonment of that very principle. In doing so, it undermines itself through internal contradiction. The Frankfurt School serves as a compelling embodiment of two well-known quotes. Socratic, "No one does wrong willingly," highlighting the distinction between doing evil and being evil. Steven Weinberg, "With or without religion, you would have good people doing good things and evil people doing evil things. But for good people to do evil things, that takes religion." Highlighting how strong worldviews or dogmas often justify evil actions by otherwise good people. And the non-moralized sequential quote, Socrates' son, "In politics, there are no excuses, only failures," highlighting how political systems should not be thought of as moral philosophies and being judged on their ideals rather than on their practical application or implementation. I argue that what are often presented as excuses within political systems are, in reality, failures to account for geopolitical, social, and individual nuances that should inform both their design and application.
What was happening was that the very idea of objective evidence was being cast aside because it was too inconvenient when it got in the way what people wanted, how they wanted to live their own lives. And as the years went on, it seemed to me that not only was evidence being cast aside, not only was apparently objective evidence by university researchers becoming subjective and warped and wrong and false, but the very idea of evidence was being overturned. The very idea of rationality and reason were being dismissed. And this was all part and parcel of what only appeared to me to be the case after many years, that on issue after issue after issue, family lifestyle choice, multiculturalism, deep green environmentalism, moral relativism, moral and cultural relativism, and all those isms, they were all ideologies. And the point about an ideology is that the idea is sacrosanct. Nothing can get in the way of the idea. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that all these ideologies were utopian. They were all predicated on a belief basically in the perfection of the world. So multiculturalism would eradicate prejudice from the human heart completely. It would stop war. It would stop conflict. Lifestyle choice would eradicate bigotry and the bigotry over differences in people's lifestyles. So no longer would people look down on people who were divorced or single parents and all that kind of thing. They were all utopian. Deep green environmentalism was about saving the planet from frying and being destroyed completely. So anyone who disagreed with these ideologies, anyone who said, well, actually the evidence shows this is wrong, factually wrong, that couldn't happen because the ideology couldn't be gainsaid. And because these ideologies were all to do with the perfection of the world, anyone who spoke against them was not simply wrong, they were evil.
Classical Marxism, as in Marx and Engels, focused primarily on economic determinism, class struggle between bourgeoisie and proletariat, and the inevitability of revolution through material conditions and the working class. Neo-Marxism emerged as a revision or extension of this in the 20th century, addressing why orthodox Marxist predictions, for example, proletarian revolution in advanced capitalist societies, had not materialized after World War I and the failures of revolutions in Western Europe. Did you catch this? Woke Neo-Marxism, from its inception, has been a stubborn rejection of reality. Specifically, the failure of Marx's original predictions to materialize, and a desperate, obsessive revision of Marxism to cling to a now moralized framework despite overwhelming practical evidence to the contrary. Is it surprising, then, that today's pro-Palestine radical leftist activists twist and reshape reality to fit their dogmatic presuppositions? Islamist militancy is reframed as resistance to Western colonialism. The consequences of October 7th are recast as genocide against Palestinians. Authoritarian regimes in Iran, Venezuela, and Cuba are elevated into freedom fighters. The Iranian nuclear threat becomes the Epstein Files conspiracy. Ideologues reshape reality to fit their ideology, rather than submit to the uncomfortable truth. Their worldview is false. The radical woke left and radical Islamism, despite their profound ideological differences, have formed what amounts to a de facto alliance, a civilizational jihad against the classical liberal order and the broader Western world. Together, they stand opposed to core Enlightenment values. In practice, they reveal themselves as anti-democratic, anti-freedom, and selectively hostile to the very concept of universal human rights. They frequently excuse, justify, or openly celebrate Islamic jihad and terrorism, while showing sympathy for authoritarian dictators and communist regimes.
Glory to all the martyrs, glory to the axis of resistance. May we see victory within our lifetimes. Margbar America, Margbar Israel.
These ideas form the intellectual foundation of modern woke activism. Divide people by identity, rank them by victimhood, and tear down classical liberal values in the name of equity. Race theory, critical race theory, sees society as a permanent power struggle between racial groups. White people are framed as inherent oppressors, and all disparities are proof of systemic racism. Intersectionality treats people as overlapping categories of oppression. The more marginalized identities you have, race, gender, sexuality, etc., the more oppressed and morally superior you are. Post-colonial theory blames the West and colonialism for every problem in the world, while ignoring the flaws, conquests, and failures of non-Western cultures. Gender studies rejects biology, claims gender is a social construct, masculinity is toxic, and traditional sex roles are oppressive. Men and women are seen as enemies rather than complements. The Frankfurt School developed what is known as critical theory, which gave rise to this worldview. Yet it ultimately represents a failure in the very principle it claims to uphold: critical thinking.
The 13 Commandments of the Radical Left. 1. You shall serve ideas, not people.
Yanis Varoufakis was appointed Minister of Finance during the Greek government debt crisis, tasked with navigating one of the most severe economic crises in modern Europe. An economist with Marxist leanings, his analysis of the crisis, that it was not solely Greece's failure, but also a consequence of structural flaws within the European Union, including democratic deficits and the strategic interests of stronger economies like Germany, was, in many respects, compelling and intellectually rigorous. In moral and theoretical terms, his position carried weight. In a world governed purely by principles, his approach might even be considered justified. He is, without doubt, a highly accomplished academic. And yet, politics is not philosophy. It is the art of navigating constraints, power, and consequences in real time. In 2015, his confrontational strategy and refusal to compromise contributed to a breakdown in negotiations, culminating in Greece accepting a third bailout of approximately 86 billion euros. The outcome extended economic hardship for many Greeks, prolonging years of austerity and social strain. The lesson is stark. Ideas, no matter how morally or intellectually sound, must ultimately serve people.
2. You should judge people according to identity, not merit.
Owen Jones just published a new book, The Fall of the West: How They Really Lost It. He blindly accepts all the narratives and propaganda of a literally Nazi-admiring state like the IRGC, and exhibits total mistrust of the liberal Western world. Owen Jones will claim to be liberal, and yet he judges people on Marxist identity, not liberal values. Identity politics is not ideal because it fundamentally rejects the classical liberal principle that every individual should be judged by their character, actions, and merits, not by their race, gender, sexuality, or any other group identity. Instead of uniting people around shared humanity and universal values like freedom, equality under the law, and individual rights, identity politics divides society into competing victim groups ranked by oppression. It encourages people to see themselves first and foremost as members of a tribe rather than as unique individuals. This leads to three major problems. It replaces evidence and reason with grievance and emotional manipulation. It undermines social cohesion by constantly pitting groups against each other. It justifies discrimination today against privileged groups as payback for yesterday's injustices, creating a never-ending cycle of resentment and tribal warfare. True progress comes from treating people as individuals, not as avatars of their identity. Identity politics doesn't heal divisions, it weaponizes them.
3. You should seek equity, not equality.
Welcome back to Legends Unearthed. Today we're diving deep into one of Greek mythology's more sinister tales, the story of Procrustes, the Stretcher. This legend, rich in symbolism and dark overtones, offers us a glimpse into ancient perspectives on justice, individuality, and the cost of enforced uniformity. The bed of Procrustes. Procrustes, with a twisted sense of perfection, had devised a bed that was neither too long nor too short for anyone, in theory. The reality, however, was far more sinister. Once the traveler lay down, the trap was sprung. If the traveler was too short for the bed, Procrustes would use his smithing tools and skills, a perversion of his craft, to stretch their body, pulling and elongating limbs until they matched the bed's length. The agony of this stretching was unimaginable, and no one could survive the ordeal. In contrast, if the traveler was too tall, Procrustes would coldly and methodically amputate their limbs, reducing them to the bed's size.
Equity versus equality. Why forcing fair outcomes destroys freedom. Equality before the law is the cornerstone of a free and prosperous society. It means everyone plays by the same rules, no special privileges, no discrimination by the state. You succeed or fail based on your efforts, talents, choices, and luck. This system has powered innovation, lifted billions out of poverty, and maximized human potential. Equity, on the other hand, demands equal outcomes, not equal opportunity, but equal results. If some end up richer, smarter, or more successful than others, the state must step in to correct it through wealth redistribution. Communists and modern equity advocates present this as the ultimate moral virtue, from each according to his ability to each according to his needs. But here's the harsh reality. True equity cannot be achieved without massive coercion. To redistribute wealth on a large scale, you need a powerful central authority with the power to seize earnings, property, and savings, heavy regulation of markets, businesses, and individual decisions, constant surveillance and control to prevent hoarding or unequal effort. History shows what happens next. The Soviet Union, Maoist China, Venezuela, and other experiments in forced equity all followed the same pattern. Individual freedoms are crushed under the weight of the state. Markets are distorted or destroyed, killing innovation and productivity. Corruption explodes as politicians and bureaucrats decide who gets what. They inevitably keep the biggest share for themselves and their allies. The result? Poverty for the masses, while the ruling class lives in luxury. The equity preached from the podium becomes elite privilege in practice.
The underdog is always right.
The lazy Marxist hangover still haunts us. The underdog is automatically noble, and anyone in power is automatically evil. Think about how irrational that is. If Hitler were the underdog, he'd suddenly be the good guy. If Jesus held power, he'd be the oppressor. This mindset makes the radical left reactionary by definition. No wonder when leftists finally gain power, their own supporters turn on them, because now they represent the evil state. Case in point, Owen Jones used to be for Labour. When Labour got in power, now he's voting Green. Yanis Varoufakis, the same. When his own radical leftist party got in power, he let them hang and made his own radical leftist party.
5. Anybody who disagrees with you has evil motives. 6. You deserve to be fascist to shut down fascists.
Radical leftists and their Islamist allies see the world like a cosmic Star Wars, a grand battle of pure good versus pure evil. This black and white fantasy justifies any extreme action in their minds, because the more noble and utopian their cause sounds, the more violence, lies, and destruction they're willing to commit to reach their perfect future.
7. If reality contradicts your ideology, reality must be false.
Hamas and Hezbollah are social movements that are progressive and are part of the global left, claims Judith Butler, an American philosopher and gender studies scholar whose work has influenced the fields of third-wave feminism and queer theory.
Similarly, I think, understanding Hamas, Hezbollah as social movements that are progressive, that are on the left, that are part of a global left, is extremely important. That does not stop us from being critical of.
8. The proletarians have no agency and can only be victims. 9. Human behavior is exclusively explained by oppressed versus oppressor narratives. Teleology alone explains human behavior.
Marx's theories are not just responsible for the worst social calamity the world has ever seen, comparable only to Islamism. They are utterly lazy and simplistic. A remnant of Marxist lazy stupidity is the complete disregard for the natural state and the human natural condition, and how they play out in human behavior. They overstate teleology when explaining world events. Teleology is the explanation of something based on its purpose, goal, or end, telos, rather than just its causes.
10. Behind all social phenomena, there are people in the shadows conspiring. These people are never from your group or allies.
We sacrificed 168 beautiful, innocent school kids, the best kids. Tremendous sacrifice. Nobody does sacrifice like we do. We did it for you, sir. Believe me, Bao, it's huge.
More. I want more!
11th. Do revolution for the sake of revolution. Being a revolutionary is a noble character trait, not a means to an end.
In Palestine and all over the world, the fight against colonialism and corporations' destruction of the planet are intrinsically linked. Look at Chevron. Everyone knows that Chevron is one of the world's biggest climate criminals. But the oil giant is also fueling Israel's genocide in Palestine. As Israel bombs hospitals, homes, and schools in Gaza, Chevron supplies them with energy.
While hospitals are shut down without electricity and people were forced to die, the Communist Party of Cuba set up Code Pink, Jeremy Corbyn, Hassan Piker, and other leftists up in the Grand Hotel Bristol, where they held a concert.
So we're on the plane now, getting ready to go to Havana, Cuba. We have this entire charter flight full of people.
Hey, I'm Brett, he, him.
Hola.
Hola? Yeah, that's cultural appropriation. That ain't it, Chief.
Really? Isn't Chief cultural appropriation too? And secondly, I'm from Cuba.
That's awesome! I love your sandwiches. You know, it is pretty sad that those Cubans don't really appreciate the great social programs they've got. Am I right, Chief? I mean, person, Cuba person.
Great social programs? What are you talking about?
Well, you know, like take healthcare, for instance.
Yes, we had healthcare, but it mostly consists of us rubbing dirt in our wounds. But my grandmother was able to build this pretty cool wheelchair out of an old washing machine.
You must be mistaken. I learned all about Cuba's excellent social programs in college.
Hassan Piker, Code Pink, and the rest of the useful idiots are literally doing poverty tourism in Cuba, treating Cubans like zoo animals for them to take pictures of.
12th. Make emotional arguments. Aim at the heart, not the mind. 13. Discredit personalities and you win the argument.
To the United States, and that this war was carried out because of the Israeli regime and its powerful lobby. So what I'm saying is basically what he is saying. That powerful lobby is the Epstein class.
Do you ever worry that people might struggle to take you seriously with phrases, language, conspiracy theories like that?
Together for Palestine.
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 Together for Palestine.
We have to tell the truth on behalf of the people of Palestine.
It's always been the artist's role in society to speak out.
Here's to the virtue-signaling Free Palestine NPCs who pivoted in enabling to Don't Free Iran. May they choke on their hypocritical bile. And to the keffiyeh-wearing street blockers and their prayer rug roadshow, let them drink Guinness through a straw. And not the zero version. And to our gutless so-called leaders who pee their pants at the thought of upsetting their jihadi imports, may the tail finally wag the dog straight off a cliff. Now sing it with me, boys!
Oh, yeah, you know where you can shove your Palestine. You can stick it where the sun don't shine. For your borders undefined and your justice misaligned. Oh, you know where you can shove your Palestine.
Every Saturday's another march with hate and bile galore, supporting terror, waving flags of those who call for war. But when Iran kills 30,000, which side do you choose? We see right through you, you just back the side that hates the Jews.
Oh, you know where you can shove your Palestine. You can stick it where the sun don't shine.
For morality you feign and the victims you disdain.
Oh, you know where you can shove your Palestine.
Used to be our streets were clean, our lives were safe and good. Now foreign thugs and grooming gangs have taken over the hood. Our coppers won't enforce the law because they've got directions to make nice with the terrorists who vote in our elections.
Oh, you know where you can shove your Palestine. You can stick it where the sun don't shine.
For your Stockholm syndrome that makes us demean our home.
Oh, you know where you can shove your Palestine.
The mobs who march for Palestine don't share our Western ways. Their culture calls for conquest, intifada's what they praise. They say it's Israel, don't be fooled, that's just their first demand. Their final goal's a caliphate, Sharia in your land.
Oh, you know where you can shove your Palestine. You can stick it where the sun don't shine. For your Allahu Akbar and your funding from Qatar. Oh, you know where you can shove your Palestine. Oh!
My abode, and in front of me is a sea of bodies praying in the road. We took you in as guests, now you act like you own the show. We're done with being polite, respect our culture, or you go.
Oh, you know where you can shove your Palestine. You can stick it where the sun don't shine.
From the river to the sea, our homeland will be free. Oh, you know where you can shove your Palestine. This violent fifth column has our leaders peeing their pants. Every policy decision is subject to their demands. From Villa and Maccabee to siding with Iran, they always bow to pressure, that's the Islamist plan.
Oh, you know where you can shove your Palestine. You can stick it where the sun don't shine.
With your politics distorted by jihadis you imported. Oh, you know where you can shove your Palestine.
Oh, you know where you can shove your Palestine. You can stick it where the sun don't shine.
Wrap your flag in broken glass and then shove it up your ass.
Oh, you know where you can shove your Palestine.
Aye, 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 aye. So here's to the people, the ones who see the truth. No more bending to the mobs, no more lies to sue.